All right, we are live. Welcome to another episode.
Oh, there he goes. We're live.
Damn.
All right. All right. We'll find out what's going on with that. Hey, everybody, we're still live. I think we are.
Yeah, we're still live.
Boy, that's great. We'll give Len a little bit here to get back in the show. We're just getting everything booted up on our end here. All right. Give me a moment. I'll check it out. Make sure the live stream is working out real good. All right. All right. Anyway, so what you been up to, Nick?
Trying not to break my controller playing Cuphead because it's all my fault and it's not the control's fault, and it's very frustrating. Where are you at in that game? Where are you, like, boss-wise in that game right now?
Boss-wise, I'm already on the second island. I'm debating about who I want to go after next. Currently I'm at a picking point. I don't know if I want to go after the genie or I don't want to go after the cupcake lady, the candy lady, or the carnival ride.
Okay, I'm telling you right now, Cupcake Lady is somewhat easy for the most part. The genie's like a 5-stager, so it's kind of a pain in the butt, but I cannot figure out the roller coaster guy to save my life. There's too much going on.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, my thing is I keep getting distracted by the what's his name? The genie guy, not because of his attack patterns, but the background is really distracting.
Oh, it only gets worse, man. There's a flying one with a bird in that birdhouse just up the ways there in that island, and too much, man.
Oh boy.
That was awkward for a second. I don't know what happened to my mic, man. I've been having a lot of issues lately. I gotta upgrade this laptop as soon as possible. It's been a crazy week. I bought a new TV, which I am very nervous about, being that my son broke all 3 TVs. And I went cheap this time around. I didn't get nothing too special. I just bought some bargain basement 1080p TVs, and I bought my son a TV for his room so he can stop coming in my bedroom to watch TV. But I've convinced my wife to allow me to get an LG 4K HDR TV. I don't know what it is about this TV, but it looks so crispy, clean when I look at it in comparison to, like, even the Samsung TVs. Like, you know, listen, normally I shop at Best Buy when I pick up my electronics, but I happen to be in Walmart. And when I was in Walmart, I just was walking by and I just looking at the image quality of this LG TV. And I'm just like, bruh, it just blows everything else away. Just completely crushes everything. Everything. It just looks so crisp and amazing. And I'm like, I want this TV for gaming. Like, I really want this TV really, really bad. It's not even funny how bad I want this TV. So definitely going to be stacking up to get that as soon as I can, maybe a little bit sooner. Try to get my wife to try to convince my wife to let me buy my son a Sega Genesis, because, you know, they got the retro consoles out. And she keeps asking me, is it educational? And I keep looking at her like she's, like, stupid. So I'm like, no, why would it be educational? Of course not. It's Genesis. It's gonna have a bunch of Genesis games on there from, like, the late 80s, early 90s. You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand why she thinks it's gonna be educational. And she's like, no. And I'm just like,
I'm with your wife on this one.
It's educational.
No joke. No joke. Your wife's right on this one. Jackie's on point, because if my son broke 3 TVs, I wouldn't have a son anymore. It'd be over. And it's like, no.
There's a reason I game on a monitor.
I mean, listen, he broke the TVs. I was upset. You know what I'm saying? I can't sit here and just go ham on my 4-year-old son. I mean, clearly I wouldn't say he doesn't know what he's doing. I'm pretty sure he understands right from wrong. At the same time, he's still a kid. It's a lot of immaturity in him. I mean, he has a long way to go before he matures out and grows up and understands what things cost, and things aren't free. I don't think he understands that yet. I'm trying to get that through to him, that these things cost money, and things aren't free. But right now it's early, so I don't want to kill a kid. Excuse me. I don't want to kill a kid over the TVs that were broken. They're replaceable. My kid isn't. I went ahead and bought the 2 new TVs. I figure I would give him the Genesis because the kid's driving me crazy to play games on my Xbox. This kid saw a Cuphead today and lost his mind. I can't even run a trailer in the gaming store to look at games without him seeing something that interests him, and he just loses it because he wants to play it. Like I showed him what's the latest Lego game? Ninjago. Lego Ninjago was the biggest mistake of my life this past week, man. Showing that to him, he lost his mind. I'm like, dude, this game is $60. I'm not spending $60 on a Ninjago game. Are you crazy? Just hours and hours of yelling and screaming and trying to talk him off the cliff. It was just crazy. But that's neither here nor there. So listen, man, let's get into the show. We have a lot to discuss. I want to try to do a Q&A if possible. Hopefully you guys enjoyed tonight's show. Just trying to share out a little bit. Make sure you give us a thumbs up. We greatly appreciate the support. Everybody that's stopping out tonight to hang out with the Tick team. And we will definitely try to answer your questions or anything that's on your mind that's happening in today's gaming week. So give me half a second and we'll get the show started. And hey, what up, Kelvin? Appreciate you coming in, man. The God, where the viewers at? Can't chat with nobody. Hey, God, it happens, bro. Some people come in late. It's a late show. We've changed our schedule. Sometimes people can make it, sometimes people don't. It is Saturday night, so it should be expected. The great thing about it, though, is that we are here for our listeners, regardless if they are here or not. They can always catch the show throughout the week, or they can catch the show on iTunes, and that's always a good thing. Either way, as long as we're here to deliver the info and conversations our fans want to hear, that's truly all that matters. Though I do respect your opinion on having conversations with the group in the chat.
All right.
All right, so here we go. We're getting ready to start the show. I thank everybody once again for stopping out. Make sure you hit the like button to share out to your friends, and we can get the show started. Welcome to the Inner Circle Podcast, the premier podcast for Xbox. I'm your host, KORXKLL, with Anchorman V.
Hey, everybody.
And our guest host tonight, Undead.
What's going on, everybody?
And we are the Inner Circle Podcast. Listen, man, it's been a crazy week, as always, for Microsoft, in my opinion. They have been on a roll with some of the titles they've released, I think, since I want to say late August into September, now with 2 big titles that a lot of fans have been waiting for. And we have a release coming, and we've had a release already. And Cuphead finally, after 3 years of waiting, God knows, I remember when we first saw this game. I think it was at our first E3 we saw it, and it's incredible to see the progress and work that has gone into this game. True story. My wife's coworker came over. Now, she came over to drop over some stuff, and she just happened to be in there. They're having a conversation, and suddenly I purchased Cuphead and I downloaded the game. None the wiser, nobody's paying attention to me. And I start playing this game, and my coworker my wife's coworker immediately stops and turns and looks at this game. Now, I've never once have seen a game sell itself the way Cuphead sold itself the other day. And she's like, "What are you playing?" And I'm like, "Oh, this is Cuphead." you know, it's a side-scroller game kind of like Contra. As soon as I said Contra, she started catching flashbacks. You know what I'm saying? It was just crazy. And she's like, oh, man, Contra. I remember those back in the days on the NES and the SNES and stuff like that. And this is a woman, older woman, about 38 years old. And she's like, this game looks really cool. It's really awesome. She's like, I love the style. When I start the game, it's got the little intro and the dialogue is going, and she's reading the dialogue. And she's like, I have got to get this game. I got to tell my son to buy me this game. Not that she's going to buy the game for her son, but she's got to get her son to get her this game. And to me, that was really impressive and told me a lot about the potential of Cuphead, not only to a younger generation, but to an older generation, maybe an older generation than that. Because even though the game is difficult, it still has a level ability where you can scale up or down the difficulty. And on top of that, it just has an appeal with this hand-drawn art, its watercolor background. It just has an appeal that really appeals to a lot of people. And I was really impressed with that. So let's talk about whether this game is worth the purchase or whether it's not worth the purchase. After playing it, I guess you could say the last day or two, give me your thoughts on what do you guys think about Cuphead and whether people should pick this game up.
I'll let you start with it, Undead, since you've been playing it.
All right. Well, the first thing that really impressed me with Cuphead, like going into it, the art style was obviously a huge selling point for it, and the price was definitely right on it, being only $25 on the Xbox marketplace. I was like, this is a win to try out. I always try to support anything exclusive that comes out on my Xbox or PlayStation. So I picked it up, and my expectations were, I'm admittedly not expecting as good of a game as I got. The controls in this game, I cannot even explain how good the controls are in this game and how impressed I am with how well it controls. And like my big complaint with like the older games, like if you go back to like the 90s and everything, the games necessarily didn't control as good as games do now, but this is like an old school 90s game with modern day controllability. Like if you flick up on the stick or you do a dodge, it's instant, it's there. You shoot in a direction, you angle it, it's there, it's perfect. And it's so cool how they've meshed the boss battles and the run and gun sections together. How if you get stuck on a run and gun section, well, you can still go on to the bosses, but it's going to be harder because you need to do the run and gun sections to get the gold coins for upgrades. And it's just a really cool system what they did. Like I was surprised there was different kinds of weapons you could have. There's different skills. There's different perks. You could give yourself an extra hit point, make yourself invulnerable while you're dashing, but you can only equip one of these, which makes it doable. And some of the bosses you change your skill set to better. It's just a really good system. It's simple, it's fun, and the art style sells itself. My dad actually asked me about this game last week. My dad hasn't played anything since Doom and Heretic on the PC way back when I was a kid. That was the last time he took an interest in a game. So I think the game is very good at selling itself. I've seen a ton of people playing this, and a ton of people that don't even like platformers, myself included, are trying this game. Like, I will 100% admit I am awful at platformers, and I'm not that good at this game, but I'm still making progress. And even when you die in Cuphead, while it can get frustrating with the levels, you never feel like the game's out to get you. You sit there and go, well, if I had dodged this or if I had timed this better, I would have gone through that. So you play it again, and then in 20 minutes you get past that boss, and it's super rewarding without being super frustrating. And that's a really hard thing to nail. And I think, especially since this is this studio's first game they've made, it's just insanely impressive, and it deserves all the critical acclaim it's getting.
Yeah, man. I mean, definitely. The thing about Cuphead in particular, and difficult, and people always, for whatever reason, it's this really popular thing lately. Anytime there's a hard game, everyone keeps calling it Dark Souls, Dark Souls, Dark Souls. And it's not really fair for Cuphead, honestly, although it's fun to do. The main reason being, Dark Souls is only difficult because the control scheme is garbage and arbitrarily hard, it's not, when you die, it's not necessarily a fair death. And that's the issue I think most of us think. Most people don't like jumping into Dark Souls for reasons like that. Now, beyond that, with Cuphead, difficult, yes, but it's not. You never get mad at the game for a bad mechanic. You're mad at yourself because you knew what you had to do and you screwed up, or you didn't know what you were supposed to do exactly. You're supposed to read tells, and it's a very old school arcadey kind of game because it relies on your ability. You can play the game entirely without upgrading a single item, and it is built for you to work that way. But if you want to have these upgrades and adjustments, you can go that way as well, which makes some things easier and some things not. For example, there's like chaser bullets. Basically, with the pea shooter, it has a certain set of damage, but the chaser will actually make your bullets weaker, but it'll auto-target. So if you want to make it easier, sure, you can make it easier, but target more often as a result. And so there's a certain trade-offs to that as well. And so that's what makes it so much fun and interesting to watch, because a little bit differently. Like the big one I'm noticing right now, watching other people play, and I play myself, certain bosses are difficult to some people, and some people entirely different. Like for me on my playthrough, I had issue with the initial slime boss, and then breeze through the root pack with the carrots and the onion. But then I got really stuck on the Hildeberg one, and I figured I was about medium or average going through the toad bosses. But then like the flower boss, I did like my second try. It was really quick, really easy. Like the flower boss, people were stuck for 2 hours on there. It's like, wow, really? It's funny because it's approached differently to everybody. Some people are good at certain things, some people are good at other parts, and it's really fun to watch though, because it's just everybody. And I think that's the big takeaway to me, at least, and that's the mark of a good game, that it can be different for everyone on how they approach things, and there's no one way to do it.
Right. I think that Cuphead, for me, has been really addicting, is what I find myself doing. And the reason why I'm saying that is because the cool thing about the game is that even though I find myself dying often or losing my lives over stupid stuff, or forgetting abilities that I should be using and things like that, I find myself, okay, just sacrificing myself at times to learn patterns, just to learn, okay, this is how I need to go. This is the approach I need to take. All right, this is how I need to take this section. And it's really cool because it reminds me of when I was a kid, and it reminds me of all the ways I used to play when I was younger. When in today's world where we depend so much on the AI being unpredictable, this kind of gives you something where it throws everything at you predictably and asks you to respond as quickly as possible. Your hand-eye coordination, your reflexes, your responses need to be on point in this game. And the harder the difficulty, or if you add a co-op person, it gets worse. So I find it really cool, really interesting. I love the music aspect of it. Like Undead said, I really like the fact that you can do the run and gun sections, or you could just do the boss rush sections as well. And in each instance, it either opens something up or gives you something different. Like I when I ran into the mausoleum for the first time with the ghost, and you have to do the parry ability for, like when you're first using the parry, and you actually get a reward for that. I thought that was really cool because I was not expecting that kind of like little mini game to happen. And then as you go through the course of the game, there's little parts and places to walk around the map to find, and then you go into the map. So I really like the game. And for me, for $20, you cannot pass up on this game. It's a really good title. It's a high quality indie game. I have to admit, well thought out. Music is wonderful, entertaining. The biggest thing for me is that also, like these guys said, there's actually more to the game than just running gun side scrolling. Unlike Contra back in the day, you got your perks on the field. You kill something, it drops It drops the flamethrower, it drops the spreader, it drops the homing missiles. In this game, you actually can set your character up prior to even going into the game. And the more coins you collect, it allows you to go to the store to talk to the pig, which is funny in itself, and collect rewards and get the things that you need for your own character. So I just really think that the game is worth the purchase. And for me, it is an automatic buy. What is your guys' thoughts? Is it a buy or deny?
It's $20. People spend $20 and like like one night out.
Hey,
man, it's $20, man. No excuses.
I feel you, but gamers are finicky. Gamers will sit there and gripe about $20. They'll complain about $20. It happens, But obviously, we feel it's worth the purchase. Undead, you think it's worth the purchase?
100%. I've already got like 5.5 hours into this game. I 100% worth the price of admission.
Absolutely. If I'm Microsoft, so far the game looks like it's going to be a success. It looks like it's selling well. I see everybody on my timeline playing it. If I'm Microsoft, I sign MDR to some type of contractual deal right now. I think they've put out a good quality title. I think that they spent 3 years doing it. It shows the quality in their work. They've got the support. If I'm Microsoft, you are missing these smaller studios. You're missing the studios that you used to have in places like Press Play and studios like Twisted Pixel. If I'm Microsoft, I sign both Moon Studios and MDHR Studios to some type of contractual agreement for another game or another series of games. And if those games are also hits and they're also success, I buy these studios. I make an offer. They can't refuse, and I buy these studios and I buy these teams and I add them to the portfolio in the first party. Because I just think that Microsoft right now was on a roll, and Cuphead was a great pickup, and it really is a seller. I wouldn't say it's a system seller, but it definitely makes people want to play the game and really look at it like, damn, why isn't this on my platform? It's one of the few, and it's an indie game at that. So that's really impressive in itself, I think.
And Cuphead's got franchise potential. That's the big thing to me. I would love to watch like a Netflix series. Like it's a kid's show. Oh my gosh, There's so much potential there.
You see, I was going to say, you guys have seen all the collectibles and stuff that have been coming out, right? They've got mugs, they've got their own line of Funkos coming out, licensed, all sorts of stuff coming out.
Buying the Funko.
I agree. I think Microsoft has something where they can actually market. They can appeal to kids. They can come out with a show. You put that with Minecraft, and you got something special, man. Obviously, it's definitely going to be frustrating for kids if they try to play the game, but the fact that they have a simple mode is pretty cool as well. So it allows the kids to play and probably learn and get better at the game. But I agree. I can't agree more. I think they have the potential to have a franchise on their hands with the plushies that they've been showing and all this stuff. Man, you just, between that, Ori, Minecraft, you got something. You have some stuff, man. You got to work. You got to build upon it, and you gotta capture it while it's hot, man. While it's on everybody's minds and in their hands, and they're playing it and they're into it. You gotta hit the iron while it's hot. So hopefully Microsoft does that, and they take advantage of the position that they're in with their new game, Cuphead. And from the Tick team, it is a buy for $20. You get a really good indie game. We can't deny this title. You guys make sure you go out and pick up Cuphead today and enjoy yourself some Mugman. And what's the other guy's name?
You really? What? What?
Other guy's name is Mugman, and the other character. What's the other character's name?
Game.
Cuphead? Oh, whatever.
Yes, it's Cuphead and Mugman.
I can't remember these things, bro.
How did you get this confused? Like, I can understand you forgot Mugman, but how?
Hey, it happens. I don't keep up with these characters' names, especially side scrollers. I'm just now playing it today, so it is what it is.
Okay, I was gonna say, one of the things interesting going forward though is
the game's named after him.
Bugman is easy to remember. I don't know. I wasn't thinking, I guess. I don't know. You got me on that one. Okay, so moving forward. Listen, Forza Motorsport 7 reviews have been dropping left and right. They've been getting 9s out of 10s and 10s out of 10s and 8 out of 10s. And this been going pretty well. But once again, It seems we have reviewers rearing their ugly heads that's been giving it 6 out of 10 and lower scores and things like that. Now, I'm not saying that there's a bias against Forza Motorsport 7 or a bias against Microsoft and having high reviewed games. And I just find it funny that when you read some of these reviews, some of the gripes are just not I won't say reasonable, because obviously anybody's opinion is their opinion. Doesn't mean that it's going to be a reasonable opinion, but you have to be honest in what you're saying. And some people are just missing a lot of the things that's actually in the game and saying these things aren't in the game. And that's one of the things that's disappointing about it. But overall, the game seems to be a success, and it seems to be getting some really good review scores. What is your guys' thoughts on Forza reviews over the last couple of years? Because it seems like, Turn 10, I don't know if they need to take more time. Do you think they need to take more time with Forza to really separate itself from the last Forza, to really kind of put it in a spotlight where people can truly appreciate that individual game and give it the scores that it deserves without trying to be biased or look at it from a skewed view? Or do you think that what they've been able to accomplish by producing a game every other year while still keeping the quality, still keeping it looking amazing, still putting out a plethora of content in it, yet it still constantly gets these little, I guess you could say, skewed reviews based on people's opinions and things like that? Do you think that truly affects it because of the turnaround is not different enough and they're not taking enough time with the studio, with the game? Or do you just think it's just biased media?
I think when it comes down to it, first off, I still can't judge Forza Motorsport 7. There's only like 6 reviews up. They're not done yet.
Right.
Like, we got to have at least 30 before we can make an accurate call on that. I'm not saying anything regarding that one. I think part of it, criticism levied against Motorsport is totally valid because Motorsport sucks. As a person, I don't really like racing games. If I do, it's going to be an arcade racer. The only game that's pulled me in has been the Horizon series. And I think it's really hard, for people to turn backwards Horizon series if they weren't really into racers. If you're really into the hardcore mechanics and tuning and designs and all that kind of stuff, Motorsport's perfect for you. Motorsport's that kind of game. That's where all the focus goes. It's all about the professional driving, and that's what the whole point of that little thing is. Now, at least when it comes to most other people, is hell. It's boring. It's not fun to play. It's tedious. It's not enjoyable. The thing is, though, when you're putting it into a reviewer, especially when they're coming off the Horizon sub-series, it's really hard for them to not look at it as, why can't I do this? Why can't I enjoy this way? Why can't I do it? Why can't I go off-road? And it's one of those things where economy of the games and the fact that they come out every other year, they have a Forza game dropping every single year, there is no time for it to breathe. And so now it feels iterative, and it's like, okay, yeah, it's better than the last one, technically. Okay, I get it. But it's not so much that the games aren't better as much as it is people are just tired. I would say to fix that, I would have it so, let's say hypothetically you do, back in 2016, you had Forza Horizon 3, 2017, you got Forza Motorsport 7, and then in 2018, no Forza game. We take a break, and then we go back with the next Horizon game in 2019, and then in 2020 we do another Forza game, or Forza Motorsport. Then people will be okay with that. I think people could get down with that. But I think part of it is Motorsport is the least accessible of the Forza franchise, and I think people who are going into it, when they get picked up on the Horizon series and then have to go to these other ones, it's like, I just don't like it as much.
But here's the thing, though. I mean, listen, you admit yourself that you're not a big fan of motorsport. You're not a big fan of races in general. Horizon has got you into racers because of its accessibility, and you don't really like motorsport. I don't know if that makes motorsport bad or worse than the Horizon series, as a lot of people love the Motorsport series. I just think that there may not be enough varying differences between the last game and the newest one because of the 1 year gap. Now, this one has way more cars than any other Forza with 700. I believe it has 5 more tracks or 6 more tracks than the last game. And then it also has a new feature set when it comes to the characters, the drivers themselves, like the actual models of the characters that's driving in the car and how you can actually design and customize those characters. So, I mean, there's definitely some differences, and I think that it appeals to a lot of people. I don't think that Forza Motorsport 7 is a bad game by any means. Based on what I've seen, what I've played, the developers that I've spoken to, I really think that it's a very high quality title and deserves the scores that it's been getting. But I also do agree that I think these games should have a longer turnaround. I know that a lot of people like the short turnaround, but I just think that a longer turnaround would allow them to truly separate themselves from each individual game. So that way one game doesn't play or feel like the other based on the tracks or based on the customizations in the game. You know, it's you don't want it to be like another Madden or another 2K. You really want to try to make these racers as defined individually as possible, is my thoughts. Undead?
I'm same as Anchor. I really don't play a lot of racers. Like I haven't picked up on the Horizon series. I have been playing Motorsport 5 because it was free with Games with Gold. And I'm really enjoying it. And you can really see, this is the thing, is like you guys are talking about, maybe a longer wait period would be good. And it really shows, like I've been watching a lot of the Forza 7 footage because I'll probably end up picking it up sometime down the road this year. But you can really, like, by playing Forza 5 and then looking at Forza 7 and all the steps they made in between those two games, it's really, really noticeable. There's so much detail and everything else. And detail is such a big deal in the simulation and racing genre that I almost feel like Forza 6, if it never had happened and what we have is Forza 7, came out like as Forza... losing my train of thought here. But if we didn't have that middle game in between, people would be wowed by the difference. I definitely think if they take a break next year and then release the next Horizons game, or if they release another form of racer, or they do whatever down the line, I think people would be a lot more open to it, because I feel like Forza is starting to get that Call of Duty burned out feel, not to the extent that Call of Duty is, because they've been doing it almost for a straight decade now of year-to-year releases. But I think if they take a year break and then come back, people are going to have a more appreciation of the changes that go into the game. And I also think to a certain degree, simulation racers do have a tendency to get marked down in review scores, because for the most part, simulation racers are geared towards a very specific audience. The amount of people that like racing games is a demographic in itself. Then people that like simulation racers are a different demographic. Really enjoys simulations is Mike off the Multiverse show. He's the only guy I know off the top of my head that's really into simulation racers and plays a good majority of them. But with reviewers, like if you get a review code for it and they're like, all right, so IGN gets review code and they give it to whoever to do the review, and he's not really a huge fan of racing games, it's going to change his view on what the game is. He's not going to appreciate the smaller details and everything else. So that could be part of the issue of why the review scores can sometimes be skewed. I think that's a general consensus too, is like you see that with a lot of games that come out. There'll be the oddball 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10 from this source, and it feels more like the guy who or woman that was reviewing the game just didn't enjoy that genre of game, maybe, or if it might just not be good to them personally. There's tons of games. I know me and Anchor get into conversations all the time about where I'll really enjoy a game, and he's like, take it or leave it, right? It's all differences in opinion. It's not necessarily wrong, but if you're going to review a game, especially on a professional website, you should definitely be able to back up your review score with facts and not just it was mediocre kind of thing.
Yeah, I think you also touched on an interesting point as well, because I think a point a little farther back where you touched on with the Motorsport series, if you didn't have 6, it would feel like it was fresh. Now, the Motorsport series does something that Horizon doesn't. They have all the same tracks again. You're not going to necessarily new places. And the issue is, like with Horizon, you're going to a brand new location every time. And it's somewhere unique and fun. It's a completely different feeling because you're in just an entirely different environment. But whenever you're playing the Motorsports series, you're going to the same locations over and over and over again. And when you have only a 2-year release window, it's not enough time for people to appreciate the changes and the growth that the game has had. So I think that's a good point that you brought up.
Yeah, man. I just really I just want to give a shout out to the Turn 10 team. I just think that studio continues to put out great quality products, man. I can't say enough about Dan Greenwald and his squad. We go to E3. I chat with these guys all the time. I talk to them about their ideas and their projects and how much detail and how many hours. And these guys just love racers. They just love racing games. And I would love for them to do something a little bit different, something out of their comfort zone, in the form of a new driver or a spy hunter or, some sort of getaway type game where they take all their driving skills and all their track techniques and put them in cities and allow you to, try to escape police and things like that. That's definitely would be an amazing concept, I think, but they just love racers. And I think they're just going to continue to put out racers as long as Microsoft allows them to produce games on the timeline that they have these games on. So, I just think that they need to, I don't want to say put more effort into what they're doing. I think they've obviously been putting as much effort as a developer can.
Of course.
Right. But they definitely need to maybe switch things up just a bit, I think, so that way they can truly separate themselves from the last game when it comes to tracks and things. But if that's what the fans want, that's what the fans want. Hopefully the game sells extremely well, way better than the last title, and people truly appreciate it. And I know that when the Xbox One X comes out and people see this game running on the X, they will be truly impressed, because my understanding, it is the best looking racing game on any console, and that is a plus for Xbox and the Turn 10 team. So moving on, Red Dead trailer has released. I am excited for this game. Some people felt underwhelmed. My understanding is that it's the prequel. I am not a fan of prequels. I am not a fan of prequels. I hate prequels. I hate prequel movies. I hate prequel TV shows, except for like something like, Superman or something like that. But I hate prequels. I truly do hate prequels, because my thing is, I hate to see a show or watch a movie, understand this hero, see how he got his abilities, right? But then the next movie isn't a continuation of his adventures or his escapades or whatever he's been doing. It is a prequel which talks about the history of the world, or talks about the history of his parents or his family or his origin, which to me is very frustrating, because they should have did that from the beginning. It truly is one of those things where it's like, why are we going backwards? I don't want to go backwards. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to continue the story as John Marston's son, as the new outlaw and his new gang. You know what I'm saying? Follow something like, the Magnificent Seven or the Young Guns or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Something along those lines, where he's hanging out with Billy the Kid and those things. Or even oh my God, what's that? Not Tombstone, Wyatt Earp. Or even like the Wyatt Earp movies or something like that. I would have loved something like that. Doc Holliday and the crew. That would have been amazing. But, instead we get the prequel. So graphically, the game looks impressive. They showed it on the PS4, is my understanding. But based on what I've seen, it looks like it's going to be another hit for Rockstar. What is your thoughts on this?
Looks like ass.
What? What? After all I just said, it looks like ass?
Yeah. I honestly, I looked at it and I was like, oh, look, looks like Red Dead. All right.
What is it supposed to look like? Transformers? I'm trying to figure out, like, what is it supposed to look like, though? Explain.
Here's the thing. What I saw, I wasn't seeing anything that was like, yes, this is a next-gen game. This is something that, and admittedly, it's not a gameplay trailer. It admittedly is not showing us what you're able to do in the game. But it wasn't showing me anything either that was like, oh, wow, this is something I couldn't have done in Red Dead 1. I was like, okay. I wasn't feeling it. And in the graphics that I saw, and keep in mind, I just got my my S8, so I'm looking at the peak fidelity of the best frame rate, and I was looking at it, I was like, it looks okay. I didn't see anything that was pushing the envelope for me. That was getting me excited.
But when has Grand Theft Auto pushed the envelope? I mean, if you're comparing GTA to GTA, right? It's basically mostly the same games. There's nothing technical that's going to be different between games. Grand Theft Auto 5 was really the first game. Hold up. Grand Theft Auto 5 was really the first game where they gave you the aspect from 3 different people and they changed the way you play online as a service. For the most part, these games are the same type of game. Overall, it's the same dynamic. It's the same way technically. The same overall map and the same way you play the game. I don't see what you're looking for with Red Dead that will truly separate it in a way that would be more appealing based on what we've originally played on the 360, at least based on the trailer.
Here's the thing. When GTA 4 to GTA 5, was GTA 5 not significantly better in almost every way, technically, in terms of what you can do in the game?
Well, GTA 4 was on 360.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously it's going to be better.
And GTA 5 was also on 360.
It was. I just, when I think about playing it on, honestly, I forgot. I actually beat it on the Xbox 360 and didn't buy it on the Xbox One until later on. And still haven't played that mode on Xbox One, but it looks the same. I think technically the only thing that I've seen besides the online component, just talking from a single player campaign component, is just the freaking the switching between players dynamic. That's really the only thing. To me, it still feels the same when you drive. They made small improvements when it comes to certain customizations and things like that. You know, having it home. GTA 4 and GTA 5, at least from a technical standpoint, the way you play the game is practically the same way. I'm not understanding what is so significantly different between those games.
Yeah, that's the point. Between all this kind of stuff is what my issue is I'm looking at it as what has Rockstar added to Red Dead that wasn't there before?
But that's what I'm saying though, Anchor. What is it that they would need to add in order to make it Red Dead Redemption 2 was an amazing game. It wasn't nothing that it did technically that was mind-blowing. It just had a great story. The mechanics were really well. The gunplay was really well. When you had that draw mechanic and everything slowed down and you could just lock on and just let loose, it was amazing. There was something to it that we didn't get with other games, and it really made you feel like you were in the Wild West and you were a cowboy. That's what made the game amazing. Obviously, they want to try to capture that again, but I mean, if the game was a prequel, you can improve on the mechanics, but you can't do something technically better than the original game because it's a prequel. Like you couldn't have technology.
Tell that to Uncharted.
Oh God. We are not talking about the grappling hook. We are not talking about the grappling hook at all.
No. You brought up the point. You can't do something technically that's better in a prequel. If you played Uncharted 4, they introduced a brand new mechanic with the grappling hook, and they introduce it when Nate's like 12. Like he's 12 years old, and then he does it right 15 years before this particular plot and all the rest of the games. He uses the mechanic then, and then for 15 years he doesn't use the mechanic ever again. and then right at the end he's like, "Oh yeah, I've been doing this the whole time." Like, what? So don't tell me you can't introduce a brand new mechanic into a prequel. You can do that.
I'm just saying. I don't know, man. I'm just saying that I just feel like you're too harsh on this. I feel like you want to hate. The hate is in your blood, and you're letting it out, but you should keep it in and give it a chance.
Hey, here's the thing.
Anchorman just wanted Bully 2. That's all he wanted. He didn't want Red Dead. He wanted Bully 2.
I did want Bully 2, but it has nothing to do with this. Now, if you thought I wasn't gonna talk about Fallout on Fallout's 20th birthday, you were dead wrong.
What's funny about that was I was just about to say the only reason why you're hating it because it's not made by Bethesda. But I didn't say it because I didn't want to bring up Fallout. And somehow, by the grace of God, this guy fits Fallout into a Rockstar conversation. This is just unbelievable. You are absolutely unbelievable. You need to go to video game rehab for this Fallout and Bethesda situation. It is out of control.
Dude, Fallout 1 is free right now on Steam. It is free for everybody. You can go and download it yourself. Now, here's the thing. At least when it comes to Bethesda, they wait long enough where there is no doubt an improvement on the last game. There is something at bare minimum you can see at least some minor improvement. Now, I will say, at least in terms with Red Dead 2, this was not a gameplay trailer. This was not anything like that. It was just a story trailer. So I will give them I give them the benefit of the doubt in that regard, but they better knock my socks off with this next trailer. But at least when Fallout does something, like, okay, even from like an incremental like 2-year difference between Fallout 3 and New Vegas, people at least saw aim down sights in the trailer, and they were like, "Oh, okay, aim down sights. That's something that wasn't in the other game. Look, that's cool." Like, you could immediately tell at least something was better. At bare minimum. Now that you're still using the same sorry ass engine, but still, it's just at least something was different. And so whatever you saw, like even from Fallout New Vegas to 4, huge difference, dramatic difference. Even from like Skyrim to Fallout 4, it was a huge difference. In Rockstar, the fact that they took, I mean, it was the last Rockstar game since 2013, right? So it's been 3 years. And what have we seen that's, drastically different? I think the only way I think in terms of they could salvage is if it is a gameplay trailer and they show some dramatic differences. For example,
it was in engine. So I mean,
I don't care about in engine. A lot of things are in engine.
Right, but what I'm saying is that they're showing you, obviously in engine is not gameplay.
Hey, you remember what was it? Watch Dogs 1 trailer? That was in engine.
Star Wars Battlefront original trailer.
Yep. In engine doesn't mean crap.
All I'm saying is that I think it's an improvement. Based on what I've seen, I think it's an improvement. I think it would look even better once they start showing the game on Xbox One X. That's my opinion on it, though. But I think it looks much better. You go look at the original Red Dead Redemption and look at the new trailer and tell me you don't see a difference. Come on, son. You don't see an improvement?
Graphically, it does look better, but that's it. I want to see some actual tangibility. I want to see something new. Like, here's my small little laundry list of things I want to see in Red Dead Redemption 2 that would make me pick up the game. You could be able to lasso another player and drag them from their horse while you're running down a cliff.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
I want to see that.
I co-sign this.
I want to see like, okay, so you're walking out of the saloon, you're a little drunk, you're a little tipsy. Some guy has a lasso, is running by you on a horse. He hits your legs, gets you lassoed up, and he just goes blitzing down the street, and you're just like being just drugged down for your whole life. You're just dying slowly that way. I want to see it be that crazy.
What type
I
of
want to see it be that
demented
thing.
crap is this? What type of tormented type of what? Like, you don't think of anything else? You think of dragging and abusing players in the game as a mechanic to make an improvement?
Hey,
We haven't even started yet, man.
Remember,
That's just one. That's just one.
Well, keep in mind that Red Dead Redemption have 5 gamer score achievement for kidnapping a woman, tying her up, and leaving her on the train tracks. So it's not too far off the mark.
Way too much Westworld. Way too.
Oh man, Westworld's great. I can't wait for season 2.
All right, go ahead. Let's see this laundry list.
All right. So the next thing on the list, I want to see guns misfiring. I want to see like you'll be playing, and so like because back in the Wild West, you had the chance of a gun misfiring, and it either being the shell just does not activate, it just kind of goes like dead, and then sometimes they explode. I want to see that like that 1% chance, not even a 1% chance, like a 0.5% chance of a misfire, and then like 1/4% of a chance that it explodes, and your gun is no longer useful.
So
I want
you're
to see
saying
like
so,
that little thing, that one little thing.
So
I want to see that.
You want to be in the final boss battle, final duel. You want to pull out your pistol, then have it explode in your face, killing you.
Yes.
This just seems like a masochistic / sadistic.
But just imagine you're playing in the multiplayer. Imagine you're playing in the multiplayer, and you guys are going at it. You're having a good time, and like you're about to lose. Your team's dead, and their team's dead, and they're like, "Oh man, it's close. It's real tight right now." All of a sudden, they pull out their gun, and you see it explode right there. You're just like, "Oh my god!"
Let me tell you something. Listen. I traded in the first Red Dead Redemption because they killed John Marston at the end of that game. I was so upset. Let me play a multiplayer game and my gun explodes in my face. I would be at GameStop so fast. Rockstar would think that I was returning the title after 3 months of playing it. Listen, you cannot put that in any multiplayer game. You couldn't even make that happen. The people playing that would be so distraught. It would be so nerve-wracking and so frustrating. Your multiplayer would die because people would be upset about guns going off or exploding in their face because they have some type of faultiness to it. Like, that's just out of control. Now, if you put a mechanic in something where it was like you have to keep your gun clean, kind of like in Elder Scrolls where you need to repair your sword or it'll break. If you had a gun and it was overused and you had to keep it clean, weekly or daily, if you didn't do that and you use it too much, then it might explode in your face. That might be one thing, but that's way too tedious for that game. It's not that type of game.
I want to see this thing be the most legit cowboy sim of all time.
Why? Grand Theft Auto isn't even that legit. Like Grand Theft Auto
exactly. That's why Grand Theft Auto is also ass. I can't play that
I'm done. I can't. We got to move on from this subject.
Unless we got Bully 2, everything is garbage. Bully 2 comes out.
It all comes back to Bully 2. Yeah. I told you.
Yeah, this bias is uncontrollable. Go ahead, Undead. What is your thoughts on this?
Oh, I think the trailer looks interesting. I'm with you on the prequel thing. I'm not really feeling a prequel. The main reason I don't like prequels in video games is because that main character is safe. You don't have to worry about that main character because they're in the next game. And then characters they introduce to you as side characters, you're like, oh, I remember him from the next game. He lives. So it takes some of the like risk and danger out of losing characters out of it. That's why I'm not a huge fan of prequels. It was all cutscenes, in-engine footage. Can't really say a lot about it. It looks like it'll be good. I don't know where they're going to go with story-wise. Hopefully they do something interesting. I'm just more interested to see how disastrous the online mode is going to be, because we all know how GTA 5 online started and the juggernaut machine that's turned into. And it's really a shame because Rockstar used to turn out games almost every year. And then once they hit the GTA 5 online money bank, they really haven't done much else outside of that. So kind of hoping after they do Red Dead, they'll start exploring other games, because they have so many good IPs that they could make sequels to or branch out on, like Bully 2, just for Anchor. Like Midnight Club, do a not a sequel because you can't do a sequel, but a game like LA Noire. Like, there's a small hope in my heart that they remastered LA Noire, because I want to test the waters to see if they can make another game like that in the marketplace. But as it stands right now, Red Dead's Rockstar's primary focus. Hopefully it'll come out on time, but it's Rockstar. It's still got another good 2 delays before we get it, so we'll wait and see.
Another 2 delays.
I still stand by my fall 2018 prediction.
No. See how this is going to work. It's going to be the same thing they did with GTA. Delay. We're going to release it just before the new gen consoles come out. Then we're going to re-release on it, so you buy 2 copies. Because who here bought a copy on 360 and Xbox One? Because I know I did.
Nope.
I refuse to do it. I got it in a game share. I refuse to buy Grand Theft Auto again after playing it on the Xbox 360. I thought that was atrocious because they said they weren't going to release it on the new consoles to make people buy it on 360, and then literally turned around and released it on the new consoles.
But you got a first-person mode that didn't really work that well.
That's what, first-person mode. I was like, dude, that's not. Forget it.
I'm still waiting for that single-player DLC.
Okay, you know what? As soon as you saw how much those shark cards were selling, you knew they weren't going to make single-player DLC. Come on,
man. Here's the thing: I didn't buy GTA 5 on 360. I ended up buying it I bought it physically on the Xbox One when it came out, because I just did not play it. Because back on 360, I bought the superior heist game, Payday 2.
Same.
Because Heist didn't come out until 2015.
Payday 2 was a pretty good game. I didn't hear much about it. I passed on it, but I didn't hear a lot about it.
Payday 2 was one of the best co-op experiences I've ever had. It's
that's what's up,
so much fun.
I look forward to Payday 3 if they come out with one. I think the game did do well game-wise. Hopefully it was successful.
I was going to say it was one of the best-selling games on Steam for a long time. It was huge on PC.
Right. Listen, the guys at Rockstar said that they don't plan to build a multiplayer like they did for GTA on Red Dead. My understanding, that was something that I read recently. I don't know if they plan to do like an open world type Red Dead thing. They said they don't plan to do it. I think GTA is holding them down with their online. They're constantly putting out new content and DLC for that. And it's pretty much has taken on a life of its own at this point. So I'm not saying that Rockstar doesn't have the bread to maintain 2 of them, but I'm sure if a lot of people demand it, they will do it. I definitely look forward. Of course they're lying. Why would I don't believe anything Rockstar
what
says
they're
after
doing. What they're doing to people right now is they're telling everybody, "Oh, we're not going to abandon GTA 5. We're not going to abandon it. Please keep buying our shark cards. Please, just keep buying those. If we tell you, oh, a new one's going to come out now, and it's going to be as robust as this. If we tell you now, people are going to stop buying it. So you wait till the last minute, and then you announce it."
That's exactly what they did with the 360 version of GTA 5 and the Xbox One and PS4 version. And
single-player DLC.
But we'll see what happens with that. I just hope that they take their time with this game. If they do delay it, they delay it early. Let us know early so people hopes and anticipations aren't up. I'm very excited for this game. And I think a lot of fans are excited for the next rendition of Red Dead after the success of the first game. Hopefully, after the prequel, they will concentrate on a sequel to Red Dead 2 and move forward from there, because I would love to play as John Marsh's son and continue on that storyline and that kind of like family history. I thought that was a really cool game. And it was sad the way that game ended after all the work you did. Really disappointing with the first game, but it was great nonetheless.
Let It Die for Bully 2 College Edition.
Jesus, this Bully game. I never played Bully, so I don't even know what the hype is about. Maybe I should try it.
Dude, yeah, I played Bully not even knowing it was a Rockstar game. I had no idea. I played it on the Wii.
I just don't see the appeal. I've watched gameplays, trailers of it. I've seen people playing it. It's not capturing me, bro. But hey,
I guess you're too old to understand.
I'm scratching my beard right now because I want to take a shot. But we're live on air, and some things I just can't say on air, so I'm just going to keep that to myself.
You can't be scratching your head like that, man. Your hair's going to fall out.
Hey, there's nothing wrong. First of all, I still have all my hair. I have a full-grown beard. I'm not that old. Don't get it twisted. I know you still got a little milk on your chin, but don't get it twisted. I'm not that old. All right. Anyway, so listen, there's an indie dropping, I believe, sometime this year called Battle Crashers, which looks really, really dope. It is kind of like a dungeon crawler, but you have turn-based battles, kind of like old school RPGs, and the whole story is told in a comic book setting. It's so awesome. Make sure you guys look for it. I think it's out on Steam right now, or there's some type of beta out on Steam. Check that game out. I got a chance to play it at E3 and was just really impressed with everything about the game. The music, the character models, the designs, and being a old school guy who grew up on turn-based RPGs, I got to pick this game up. If you check out TICGN.com, we got the TICGN Spotlight on Battle Crashers. Make sure you read up on that, man. Get your info and make sure you keep an eye out for that on the Xbox One, because I think that's the game you guys don't want to miss. So before we head out of here, man, you guys have anything you want to talk about? Anything recently that's come across your desk?
We got a couple housekeeping stuff with a Patreon, but Nick, I understand you launched your own YouTube channel.
Yes, I did. Undead Reviews, going to be doing throwback games, reviews, all sorts of stuff. You'll find some of the stuff I'm doing, you'll find write-ups for it on the site as well as the videos, because I know some people like to watch, some people like to read, so there'll be a variety of things. I've got an indie spotlight coming up this week on The Escapist 2. Is it worth the buy? And yeah, so I'm really focusing in on that stuff. I'm hoping to scrounge some money together and get a Retron console so I can start recording some retro gameplay and doing some retro reviews as well. So looking forward to getting into that.
Dope, man. So that's great. I saw your Cuphead first impressions. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, after I fixed the audio issue. Thank you for catching that. Hey, I'm not even gonna lie. I had a setting in my Camtasia where all video footage was supposed to be muted. I thought I still had that on, but apparently when I rebooted my computer, that turns that off. So I'm glad you caught that, because I would have gone to bed with that video upload for 8 hours. So that was a good save.
All right.
We got the new Tick Network stream is coming out soon. We're gonna be moving to Mixer from Twitch. So if you guys followed us on Twitch, we're gonna be moving to Mixer now. Keep an eye out for that. That should be releasing very soon within the week. Anchor, you got new news on the Tick Network Patreon?
Yes. So we did our inaugural Patreon. So with this particular one, there were certain prizes available for the first month that we had available. We have restructured them now to the rewards we're planning to go with from now on. You guys can check that out in the description below on the new Patreon for TIC Network. So real quick, just a few little things. I did the raffle this afternoon for the winners of the gift cards. I'm going to be announcing those right now. One second, let me grab my piece of paper here. 1 second. All right. And so we were doing the raffle for the $20 gift card on the platform or system of your choice. So the winner of the $20 gift card, let's say it's a little dark. We have PlayStation Bra, who donated, and he'll win the $20 raffle, $20 gift card.
Congratulations, PlayStation Bra. Appreciate your help and support as always.
And I'll hit you up on Twitter too, so you can tell me what system you want it on. And let's see what we got. And for the $60 raffle, which we did, the winner is Crazy CVT. V2K. I think that's Russell. That's him. Yep. All right. So the winner of the $60 raffle is Crazy, man. I'll hit you up on Twitter as well. You let me know what system you guys want it on. You guys were doing raffles as well for going forward. So you guys want to be in on that. You guys can check it out on the Patreon, and as well as other great rewards that be rolling out as well.
Hey man, big shout out to Russ, man, Crazy C2K, and PlayStation Bro, man. We can't thank you enough for your support. It really goes a long way to supporting Tick Podcast, Tick Network, and all the things that we're trying to build here at the organization. We've been doing this for such a long time, man, and we do it for the fans. So we're very grateful for any support we get on the Patreon, and we're definitely going to be delivering good content for you guys. So again, make sure you guys go to the Patreon, look up TIC Network. I will leave a link in the description. You guys can check out the new levels that we have that you guys can subscribe to. Again, you can subscribe for $2 and get entered into our raffles and get rewards, come on the shows, do interviews, all the good stuff, man. And you'll get exclusive content on that Patreon, which I'll be releasing sometime tomorrow for our September patrons. So again, want to thank everybody for support, man. It really means a lot to the Tick Network family. I guess that's it for the show. We will definitely be back next week with another episode of Tick Podcast. The team is definitely trying to recapture some of the base. Obviously, we've made a change when it comes to the days that we do our shows. We used to do our shows Thursdays at 11. A lot of people were aware of that. They would show up around that time. Now we're Saturdays at 10. So we have to do a lot of advertising to make sure people find out where they can find the show, as well as get our content on iTunes, Google Play, and any podcast app. One of the things that we may be doing very, very soon that we're looking into right now is actually doing our shows live from our website, where we will have a call in. So instead of you guys leaving questions in the comment section, you can call in and be on the show while the show is live. So as we experiment with this new program and we look into those things, we will let you know if we decide to do that. You guys keep an eye out for that. I'm very excited about introducing that to the fans out there that listen to Tick, and I can't wait to get people to give us a phone call and chime in on some of the things that we're doing. So make sure you tune in tomorrow, Sunday at 11 a.m. for the Iron Lord podcast. That team will be here right before football, and you can check out the team and get the scoop on what these guys are talking about when it comes to Destiny, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, and everything going on in the industry. Make sure you catch the best podcast on a Monday with Anchorman V and my man Undead PA Mike the Truth, and of course I can't forget Sir. Why is his name not coming to me?
James.
Yes, James Wilson. It's James Wilson, right? That's his last name. Yeah, shout out to James, man. He does a great job for us over on the TICGN team. He does all of our movie reviews and holds down our entertainment section. I can't talk highly enough about James, man. Really good guy. Make sure you guys go out there and support as well. 2XP on Fame's Entertainment Channel. If you want that good debate show with Fame representing Xbox and Nicodemus X and team representing the PlayStation side, and of course myself, Kal-El, you can catch Super Pod Shots on Fridays as usual, as I get a chance to talk about Xbox in the industry. It's going to be late tonight, so we're probably going to skip out on the Q&A. I want to thank everybody for stopping out. We greatly appreciate it. Again, we'll be back next week with another episode. Keep an eye out for these Patreons and the giveaways, and make sure you stay locked to Tick Podcast on Twitter. I'm your host, KLYX Kal-El, the last on the planet Xbox. We're Anchorman V and my man Undead, and we are off this planet. You guys have a great night.